45 to order. Please rise and join me in the flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we take roll, please?
Councilmember White? Here. Councilmember Cook?
Here.
Councilmember Fairley? Councilmember Osborne? Here. Councilmember Thomas?
Here. I make a motion to excuse Councilmember Fairley for this evening.
Second. I have a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Fairley. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. I don't see any presentations for this evening.
Make a motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Is there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passed.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any questions? Everybody look at the, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passed. Reports, Mr. White?
Yes, on Wednesday, March the 12th, I attended March 19th, Cities and Schools Forum meeting in Pacific, and they discussed cities and school updates from each area that was attended. We also had an update on Safe Auburn community conversations, and they had a presentation from Green River College Foundation, and Green River College is having a town hall on March 26th from 5 to 7 p.m. And I think I've sent everybody an invitation or an email talking about that. And any questions on that one? Okay, I also attended, and this was on the 12th, the SCA Public Issues Committee meeting. And that was an online meeting, and I also, and they discussed quite a few things. Mostly, one of the things they discussed is that Carnation and Snoqualmie want to reduce their housing growth targets in their comprehensive plan. And there's nothing we had action on, but they also discussed the parks levy renewal. And this one, King County is proposing a 6-year, $1.5 billion renewal of the county's parks levy to support basic operation and maintenance. There was a lot of discussion on that, and actually they're going to have a called meeting. They haven't decided when yet, but for the members of that board, and discuss more, and also vote, pass it to the full council for their approval or disapproval. According to the mayor, we are in favor of this levy, and I sent all councilmen information about that. They want to review it and talk about it. Also, we went to Good Egg Breakfast and listened to the Hawaiian Airlines CEO speak, and he had very good words to say.
It was interesting. I had no idea that Alaska was going international. Hawaiian Airlines flies to Australia and ordered 787s and so forth. It's 777s to fill some routes. Probably going to start going to Korea this fall. Should be interesting. Thank you, Mr. White. Mr. Cook?
Nothing this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Osborne? Thank you, ma'am. Bill?
I don't have anything this time.
Well, thank you. Public Works Director? John?
Do I speak in here?
Yes, sir. Is it on?
It is now.
It is now.
Thank you, sir.
I think I handed out updates to everyone, and just briefly we'll go through them. Most of the writing is already in there. We're looking at selling our surplus assets. I've asked a company called Bidadoo. They're just outside of Kent. They have an auction site. If anybody can take a look at it. We have the Vector truck. That's one major piece of equipment, and dump truck, and most likely a Ford Ranger and a few other smaller pieces. We had expert equipment to come out here, or equipment experts, to just look at it, make sure everything is working. So we'll get a better value for the equipment. Last Monday, we boarded up Hadu Apartments. Police went in there, make sure that there was nobody still in there before we boarded it up. On Friday, the mayor, city administrator, and I met with the Auburn's mayor, public works director, and city engineers to look at the flooding issues for both cities. Auburn has recently been clearing ditches, maintaining access to roads, removing beaver dams. They are monitoring 5 different places where flooding is occurring, and so they're continuing to try to help with the flooding situation. They've also asked Fish and Wildlife permission to remove some additional beaver dams in their area. We also discussed getting additional 170,000 gallons of storage for fire flow situation, and there were some costs and availability of extra water discussed on that. Cherry Park, the Public Works team started clearing some of the shrubbery around there, putting up some no parking fire lane signs to keep people from parking behind there. When the mayor and I went there, there was a couple big trucks parked there. This week, we're going to put together a plan for the pond maintenance at Cherry Park. We have a grant of $250,000 to restore the park area. We actually found a couple benches inside the blackberries. Hiring, we're looking for 2 utility workers and a public works supervisor. Dean, who's our public works supervisor, will go back to enforcement and permitting. I think Jessica is going to talk about the wetland preserve project. We had received 5 different bids. Last week we also had elevator testing, which is a quarterly function to make sure the elevators stop at the right floors. Railway crossing, I haven't been across it myself, but I've heard it's been significantly improved. So that's a good thing. On the sewer maintenance side, the guys have been cleaning the sewer lines, jetting them, and the last of it should be done this week. If not, because early next week. The guys are going to go out mowing lawns, I think, in the next couple of days because of the weather's in the 70s. Once the jetting is complete, we'll have the lines inspected. We'll get it all recorded to identify any repairs that we need or relining. The water meter upgrade, there'll be a study done to see what we need for capital. It'll probably be 1 in 10 on top of this building, and then we should, if it gets approved, we should be able to read all the meters from here locally, monitor water leaks. My understanding is you can even turn off the meters from here if we have to. And then to today we've been dealing with flooding issues along 10th and 11th, and I guess last week as well. There's been some flooding at, for example, at 911, it's at Algona Boulevard. We pumped that pretty much dry today. So we'll be looking at, we're jetting some of the lines, looking at where the plugs might be occurring. We know there are some plugs, but it's going to take a bit of time to figure this all out. Do you, council or the mayor, have any questions?
Hi, I'm John. Thank you. Appreciate this. This is great. Again, welcome aboard. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Here. I just want to clarify, when you talk about sewer system maintenance, you're talking about stormwater, correct? Not sewer, or is it?
No, looking at both things. The sewer is, we're cleaning them and jetting them to make, and then they'll run cameras through. That'll be under a contract that we have budgeted to see what kind of conditions they are in, if they need relining, for example.
But that's the sewer, not stormwater.
Correct.
Okay.
And we were jetting the storm waters as well today.
Right.
That's the confusion.
Okay, no, just want to make sure I understood. Thank you.
Anything else? Chief Spencer?
All right, good evening. I'll try to brief. I only have 2 items on my report tonight. I do want to cover the first item, and they're both kind of related. So the first item is the evacuation of the highway. As the Public Works Director mentioned, everything kind of went smooth. When we went over there last Monday, it was empty. We boarded it up, we cleared it out, we boarded it up, put the orange fencing around it, and all good. And so we'll shout out to Public Works. Everybody worked well together in the city, and we got it done fairly quickly. So the second item I have in my report tonight is I would ask that you would count this as a first touch for an ordinance. If you remember, Zach has briefed the council, and the staff has been working with Zach since that briefing to come up with a code section for unfit dwellings, buildings, and premises. So what you have in my report are 15 guiding principles, what we want in the code section. And when we did the research, we looked at 4 different code sections. And we kind of took a little bit from 3 of them. One was extremely long and tedious, and probably I don't think anybody, including Zach, could decipher it. But we found 3 really good examples, and we took a little bit from each example. And next council meeting, you will have a written ordinance with that code section attached. I just wanted to give you, here's what we want in that code. So if you go through sections 1 through 16, you'll see, and they're pretty straightforward things that we need in each code section, but this one in particular, you know, talking about the purpose and authority, a definition section, public officer authority. We want to make sure it's very clear whether it's me, the Public Works Director, or the city administrator, whoever's deemed the public authority can take action, and that there's an appeal process, and that appeals process goes to the hearing examiner, and then the hearing examiner makes a ruling on it. So we want to make sure, we also want to make sure there's an anti-discrimination clause, all those kind of things. So I kind of broke it down in my report. Again, you will see a ordinance for second touch next session with a written code section for examples. So if you want to take a look at those and you have other suggestions, or you'd like to see something else, please email me. I'm kind of the one taking the lead on this, and I want to be very clear. I want to make sure it's something that you can work with and we can enforce. Other than that, I'll stand for any questions.
I don't have any questions about this, Chief. Thanks. I think that's a great thing, both of those, so thank you for that. There was an email that came out, I think, a few weeks ago about, I guess there's a public website that you can see police calls and reports. And that's being shut down. Is that correct?
Yes. So Valleycom is terminating that at the request of Federal Way. there was an incident in Federal Way where the bad guy was actually tracking the progress of the people pursuing him on that website. However, I will tell you my personal opinion, put a 30-minute delay on that information. Still keep it open to the public, but as you very well know, we don't have a seat at the board table of Valleycom. We're just a customer. I do sit on the operations board and the finance committee, but the ultimate decisions that are made about what goes away, what stays, those are above my pay grade, so to speak, on that. But yes, that forward facing, I do think that and this has been discussed at the chief level, this has been discussed at the mayor level when they have the board meeting, and I do think they're gonna run into First Amendment issues. They have to be able to provide some of those, and I do believe that members of the press are gonna push that. The same issue is coming to light because Auburn and Federal Way want to encrypt all our radio communications. The rest of us are kind of in the position, hey, encrypt one channel, so if we have to go quiet, we can go quiet, but keep the main channel open, which, by the way, is the same thing that King County and Seattle have decided. Hey, we're going to encrypt one channel, and then the main channels are going to be open. If we have to switch for safety reasons, then we'll go to that encrypted channel. However, Valleycom, Auburn and Federal Way are really, really pushing toward all encryption for everything at Valleycom. But as your chief, I think you're going to run into First Amendment issues. And quite frankly, hey, if we need to go secure, we have the abilities to do that. But let's keep everything open. So.
Okay. So do you see that loss of that website as being detrimental, or?
Are you asking my personal opinion? Yeah, I think it's a valuable tool for people to see what they're paying for. But I don't get to make those decisions. I have voiced my concern, as you can probably figure out.
That's great. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, sir. City Administrator.
All right. So it's that time of year again. Easter's coming up. It's April 19th, and Gary is accepting candy donations. We also have our recycling event coming up May 3rd. I've been told it's the 34th annual event. And we've collected over 1.5 million pounds of recycled goods over those 34 years. I also wanted to give a shout out to the police department and public works for the coordination of the Hondu evacuation. There was a lot of notifications that were done and just a lot of effort that both parties have coordinated very well, and it was extremely successful. So thank you guys. The wetland preserve. We just last week finished phase 2 of the planting, so that first bid package is all complete. And we're ready to do phase 3. We went out to bid on the last few weeks, and on the 20th we opened the bids. I'll go over those bids later in the agenda, but we got really good responses, so I'm looking forward to seeing this project progress. So that's all I really have. Any questions for me?
I have a question.
Sure.
Not about this. There was an email about Office 365, right? Are we at that point yet now, or we're gonna make that switch over, or is that just some kind of general?
We've switched over.
Yeah, we've been switched over. You're good to go. We're glad.
Do we need to do anything with that? That's all good?
Yes, you brought your laptop in, right, over the last few months.
Well, last few months, yeah, but I was gone last week, so I'm just trying to get caught up on where I need to be with that. So if I missed something with that email that I need to do.
I don't believe so, no. I can double check with IT, but I don't think anything was pushed out.
Need to bring mine in.
Yes, that is one thing. Every Wednesday night, they push out any updates that need to come through. So I would recommend at least once a month bringing your laptop in, just plug it into the network and get those updates.
Does it have to be plugged in, or can you just use Wi-Fi for me? It has to be plugged in.
You can do Wi-Fi, yes. They updated our Wi-Fi to be able to do that.
I don't get it at my house, though. It's not that strong.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm glad to bring mine in because something's going on with
in? Okay. I'll take a look at it.
Anything else? My report. I'm excited to announce that starting in April, we'll be producing a 5-minute video update to inform and engage our community. This video will highlight key announcements, city updates, and positive developments from various departments. So I'll be asking the department heads to provide me pictures like John did and information. If you want to see something that's similar, you can go to Algona, Iowa, their webpage. Premier does a 5-minute in every month. It's good, so I'm kind of probably going to try to emulate that. Walking bicycle path that we're working on. A new walking and bicycle path on the west side of Algona Boulevard. It's extending from 5th Avenue South to Boundary Boulevard. Is expected to be put out for bid in April.
That sounds right.
We hope to start construction by midsummer. One thing I want to make sure and note, and tell people over and over, that once the path is completed, street parking will no longer be allowed on the west side of Algona Boulevard. That's where the walking path is going to be. There are exceptions for some sidewalks up on the north side. There will be parking areas that we can hit the sidewalks and walk. I want everybody to be aware of that. So announcing that over and over. Surely we're excited about it. Met with Karen Herman, the project manager at the South County Recycling, the new South County Recycling Transportation. Still set, scheduled to open summer 26. We don't take possession of the old transfer station property until 2027. We have been working with some developers, hopefully, and they're going to clean off that property. They're going to take the transportation out. So that's the goal is to have somebody ready to move in here and get some retail in there of some sort. Wood Spring Suites Hotel, the new hotel. Our new 131 room hotel, Wood Spring Suites, is set to be completed and open in early winter 2026 in time for the World Cup. He told me December. I don't know how they're going to do it, but this guy seems to be Johnny on the spot. So I'm doing here. I got a village. We're currently working through the final permits so the developer can commence construction on phase 1 of the new apartment buildings. Hopefully midsummer. We worked long and hard to get this going, so hopefully midsummer they'll start building that first floor. That's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah. Who's this hotel outfit affiliated with? It's like Best Western, or is it Clarion?
Wood Spring Suites is the group.
I'm sorry, this.
Wood Spring Suites, that's the name of the hotel.
And
I don't know.
the group has got Clarion, and there's like,
Okay.
there's a whole branch, but I know Clarion was one of them.
Okay.
So, but yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, those surveyors that were on Algona Boulevard, were they for the,
The walking trail, I couldn't tell you. I
Yes,
saw
they were.
They were.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, one quick question for that. How are they gonna delineate the bike pedestrian lane? Is it gonna be with the paint, or is it extruded curb? Is it?
Extruded curb. They're still working on final design, and if you'd like, you can come in and take a look at it.
Any other questions? Let's move on to audience participation. The city council encourages public participation during meetings of the city council and welcomes your comments. This time is set aside for you to speak to the city council on any issue. The council ordinarily takes non-agenda matters under advisement for taking action. You are also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each in addressing the city council. When addressing the city council, please speak clearly and audibly and state your name and address for the record.
Chris Gomez, 527 Main Street. I have a couple questions on Dirt Works. That's the contractor that won the contract for the wetlands.
They were the lowest bidder, yes.
So I look at the references that they submitted, none of that even close to what they're gonna be doing over there. They're all digging holes and putting pipes in the ground, they're over there, they're building bridges and walk platforms, so how's that work? They basically saying they've never done anything like this, but they're gonna go ahead and do it.
We're not obligated to take the lowest bid. So that's a consideration of the council.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, they basically have a lot of things there where they've done rework of pipes and burying pipes and sewer lines and tearing down the building and backfilling the building. There's nothing there saying that we've done that kind of work. And I don't know who Auburn had theirs done by or who had Kent's done by, but any of those guys come in and submit bids from them to us?
I think there's a full list in the packet.
Yeah, there's the whole list.
Right after the agenda bill, there's a list of the.
Right, I don't know if any of those are that submitted references of what they've done in the past. The other question is where is Cherry Park?
Mountain's right behind you. If you go to, First Avenue, take a right on Algona Boulevard, and at Fourth Avenue North on the west side, there's that fence that runs, and there's a housing development there.
Uh-huh.
And that's called Cherry Park. That was put in 2004. That neighborhood was.
All right, I've been here 16 years and never even heard of it. I mean, it's close to where I live, and I walk over there or something. And then the other question is for the chief. Since the academy has stopped using the SIG 320P, is it all our officers issued with those? Or
Nope, not a chance. We
Okay.
use a Glock 47.
I was just curious.
Nope, we've never used a SIG product. Well, I take that back. I think 2 of our rifles are a SIG product. So,
Okay.
but yeah, just the P320 has so many malfunctions that most departments in the state of Washington abandoned.
I mean, they've actually seen them on body cams. That was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's pretty much it covers everything. Other than the speeders on Main Street still. I know you got the sign out, but it seems not to slow them down.
Well, Chris, as of 6 p.m., we wrote 4 tractor trailer tickets today in town. So.
I'm good. I'm glad because it just seems to be an ongoing issue on Main Street. It's not that they're down there. It's they're speeding trying to get through town before you catch them. That's my biggest concern. And you know, like anything else, trucks don't stop on a dime.
Well, hopefully the word gets around quick, because we're after them.
It's an expensive ticket.
I imagine it is. It's gotta be close to $500, I would think.
It's expensive. Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Let's move on to item 9, discussion items. A, waste management, solid waste collections contract, Fifth Amendment, vacation holds.
All right, we just had the presentation at workshop about this amendment. Zach is still in the middle of his legal review of it. Are there any questions since Jeanette talked an hour ago? Okay,
Yeah, is there a push on this? I mean,
No,
not really.
okay,
no,
all right, coming like next meeting, say, we're gonna move forward.
no. We've already done the contract. We already did a 2-year extension. And that went through council with you guys.
We're reviewing options. We're reviewing options.
What item B? Item B is bid results for the Algona Wetland Reserve restoration of the Interpretive Trail Project, Phase 3.
All right, as I mentioned earlier, we just had the bid opening on March 20th for the third phase of the wetland reserve. This includes the elevated boardwalk and the overlook. There's some technical work with the pilings and we have that big gas line that goes right by the property, so there's no heavy machinery that they can use, and quite intricate work. So we had 5 bidders, the lowest being Dirtworks Northwest at $1,045,700. They had all the necessary paperwork to be a valid bidder. John, do you want to add anything about it, or?
No, the next closest bid was just over $100,000 more, about $115,000 more. With Pacific Dirt Works, we could call their references and go over what exactly they did in those projects, but the references did have projects in the $700,000 range, nothing in the over $1 million at this stage, and we could vet them through the references and make sure that they're able to do that kind of work. And if council wishes, then we can also look at some of the other references on some of the other bidders.
Yeah, and Mr. Gomez brings up a good point about referencing that. I'm looking through, a brief description of the work that they did, and none of it, applies to this type of work. That doesn't mean they can't do it. I mean, it's just the references they gave us is like nothing about boardwalks or any kind of pilings or pin pilings. I mean, it's not, like I say, it's not science out there, right? It's a boardwalk, and I'm sure they come out with some kind of instructions. But yeah, it would be interesting to find out the next closest bid, what their references are as well. And so that's my comment.
Any other comments? Questions? Move on to, there's no new business, no old business. We'll move on to item 12, ordinances and resolutions. Item A is ordinance 1249-25, updating the Algona Municipal Code 2.80.
So court. This is just adopting the court by reference. Nothing's changed.
So motion's in order. Yes. I make a motion we approve ordinance number 1249-25.
I'll second.
Have a motion and second to approve ordinance number 1249-25. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passed. Next workshop.
Is there anything council would like to see?
Like we'll have the next workshop unless we come up with something in the next 2 weeks. We'll let you guys know. Anything else for the good of the order?